Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trapper Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host Terry, and today looking at some run plays against the Oakland Raiders. A lot of people kind of throw out Akeem Hicks' name when we're talking about the defense right now, and so I wanted to look at some plays with Akeem Hicks before he was injured, of course. And we're going to look at the Raiders where, we first kind of got that exposure is what I wanted to say. But anyway, so unfortunately or fortunately, the first 4 plays have coach film for whatever reason. But those are the plays that Akeem Hicks is in. So we're just going to really go in depth and break down those 4 plays. And yeah, because I tried to do it a few times with the broadcast, but it doesn't play correctly, so I can't skip plays. So it's weird. So we'll just look at the ones with coach film. All right, so let's go ahead and get this started. So first play is first down. We're in shotgun. All right, so nice little run play. So there's a lot to break down on this. I've seen this play enough times. So this is a split zone. So what you're going to get is the tight end is going to come across the grain and block the edge, and the rest of the line is going to zone block to the right. And so the running back has a choice to go play side with the zone, come back, or cut it back backside. And so that's the 3-way go that zone usually is. So I'll let it go in full speed. So you see that Jacobs goes with the play side zone and then ends up cutting it back to the A gap. Now, a couple things to look at here. On this play side, everybody's hat for hat, man for man. Even receivers got the corner. So already they've got this blocked up pretty well. Now, what you'll notice is that the one person unblocked will be Roquan Smith. So there's a double team here up to Trevathan. And then Roquan's going to be unblocked. Now, when I talk about our linebackers not being downhill, in most of the league, but when I talk about us not being downhill, this is what I'm talking about. So Jacobs is going to press the play side, then end up cutting it back. When he cuts it back, unblocked backside linebacker is waiting right there for him. So now at this point, if you're playing downhill, if you're attacking the ball, this should be a no gain to a small gain, if not a loss, if you're coming downhill and looking to make this play. And again, really, Jacobs could have pressed to the play side, but probably felt him coming off his block, whatever. But everybody's man on man right now. And so if you come downhill, you can make that play. Now we'll see what Roquan ends up doing. He sits in the hole to catch it. And not only after he caught it, after contact, Jacobs probably got 2-3 more yards. So not only did you sit in the hole and not come downhill, but then you also caught the tackle. And so this was something that I was worried about with Roquan coming out, but I also worried about with a lot of linebackers. Most of them don't play downhill. And so that's what you get. You get extra yards that shouldn't happen. All right, so we'll go to the next play. And it is first down again. So they start in empty and then they motion to an ace formation, 2 tight ends. And it's a power play. They don't get a lot of yards on that one of our stops. And so this is what you'll see on this power play. Where Jacobs get there. So you're going to have the right guard pull up to the linebacker. You're going to have a block back, double team here to the play side, or really backside linebacker. Pull to the play side linebacker. Tight end kicks out. They kick out here. And so I'll go full speed, but what ends up happening is Jacobs has to bounce, and we'll see why he has to bounce, and that's because of Khalil Mack. So I'll actually pause it once it gets there. So at this point, this guard's pulling up for Roquan. Now imagine if Mack was out here being blocked on the edge instead of here. It would be a pull right to this linebacker and gone. But Khalil Mack fights inside. He isn't being blocked well, and so he collapses this and forces Jacobs to bounce. But what I will say is check out Roquan again. Blocker comes for him. He's bouncing back, dancing, avoiding it. And so Trevathan, the backside backer that really isn't accounted for besides the double team, he's there to help clean it up and with the backside guys after they get off the block. But again, imagine if Khalil Mack was out here, it would have been a block on Roquan and Jacobs would have been gone straight into the third level. So definitely a nice job by Khalil Mack. A lot of people talk about the pass rush ability, and it's definitely there, but the run ability too is way more powerful than some people give it credit for. So anyway, back to a 21 personnel. This is the third play. I got to keep track. Under center, another zone, and they get a decent little gain. Or actually, let me go for it. Yep, they get a decent little gain. So this is zone stretch. And by the way, when I talk about what our offensive line needs to move towards as far as run blocking, this is what I'm talking about. Zone stretch. Real zone. And so Nick does a decent job fighting in front of that zone to at least cause the running back to bounce back and hesitate a little bit, but it still wasn't enough. So you got him to bounce back, but you got hat on hat, like very well blocked. Now, the backside pursuit ends up cleaning it up. And again, because Nick kind of forces Jacobs to stop going forward. And so he has to cut it back. And that's where the backside gets him. But again, play side is pretty well blocked. And you'll see Akeem Hicks even get hit by his fullback, just blown up way downfield. And Akeem Hicks is good, but, you know, you got to give it to the Raiders. And I even like what Floyd was able to do, too. He fought on the outside, but didn't get washed down. He was able to fold back in. So, good pursuit by the backside. And look, when you playing against a zone heavy attack, that's all you can really do. You gotta, I wouldn't say that's all you can do, but your backside has to be engaged. Otherwise, people can really gash you. So, under center again, another inside zone. Akeem Hicks was hurt on this play, unfortunately. And they get an okay game. But still one of our better stops. And we'll look at kind of what happened. And so another inside zone. So Jacobs presses to the play side and doesn't really have a cutback option. Now again, that's Khalil Mack on this edge, where he doesn't get washed too much outside. He doesn't lean too much inside. He stays at a good leverage where the running back has to stay his course. He can't really bounce it because Mack would have been there. So not too bad by Mack, of course. Now, Nick Williams ends up getting off the block, but he gets moved down the line a little bit. And Roquan gets a big push. So actually, I want to go to one of these touchdowns because I've watched this play. And so I'll do this one as well. So this is the broadcast view, but this is one of Josh Jacobs' touchdowns. So I had a pro formation again. So they do a pitch, cuts it back, and ends up in the end zone. Now, watching this, there's a heavy flow once they do the pitch, which makes sense. That's the action. So we got a heavy flow from everybody. And then that creates a natural cutback lane. And so what you want to look at, so Trevathan not over pursues, but takes away the outside, and he's the play side backer. And you got Khalil Mack and everybody else on the outside. So now that creates this inside. So where's the inside? So we see Roquan being blocked by the center Hudson. And again, instead of taking it on, it's more of a back pedal, trying to evade, and ends up colliding right with the safety for a 2-for-1. And so Clint Dix can't recover before it's a touchdown. And that's important because Clint Dix is the only safety. Eddie Jackson's up against the slot. So he's the last line of defense. And so Clint Dix pursues outside like everybody else. But then when it's time to cut back, he tries to cut back. Goes right into Roquan, who's getting bullied. And there you go with that. So, it's tough. I mean, people being out physical. Even Eddie Goldman, who they cut block him. But Eddie Goldman is a good 3 yards off the ball by the time he's even cut blocked. And backside pursuit wasn't that great. But, yeah. So, anyway, that is kind of a little taste of the run game. And then I'll do the same with the Saints pretty soon here as well. So, anyway, go to the comment section. Let me know what you think. Share it around, get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, stay up and bear down.